Hi, welcome back. Today's class will be working with the hips and we'll be doing some twisting. Okay, so we'll start first, just get props. Later on, you may need a bolster or some extra height. I've got 2 shoulder stand pads. You can have 3 or 4 blankets, or the pad and 2 blankets, and a couple blocks and a strap. Okay, so get those together. We'll start today in a simple twist, and we'll use the wall and a blanket. Before we start our practice, I wanted to let you know about my online programs and workshops. Whether you're new to Iyengar yoga and want to learn the basics in a systematic way, a seasoned practitioner looking to revisit the essentials, or a yoga teacher seeking inspiration, these programs and workshops are self-paced, allowing you to make consistent progress and revisit specific topics whenever you like. You can find the link in the description below. With that said, let's begin our practice today. So you'll come down, this will be Bharvajasana 1. So you're going to come down onto your knees. We're going to turn toward the wall, so you'll bring your feet away from the wall. Bring your blanket back so you can sit on the blanket. So this is a half-folded blanket. You could also take the blanket a little bit higher or use 2 blankets or a block. Okay, so I'm coming up onto the knees, turning the bottom foot out, putting the front of the ankle over the arch of the bottom foot. So there's a nice little space there for the ankle to go down. And then I will make some space in the back of the knees. And I'm going to sit so that this sitting bone near the wall is on that blanket. Then adjust my legs and adjust this buttock. This buttock is dropping under, so I'm slanted toward the wall. I'm going to reach out and grab the buttock flesh to the side, then rebalance myself so I'm on the sitting bones equally. I've got the thighs descending down into the floor, so I'm completely balanced here. With the foot pressing down, shins, thighs moving down, so that's my base. From there, I want to lift up. So I'm going to take the hands to the wall and be on the fingertips. So first pressing down, and then inhale, lift up. So I'm descending this femur bone down, descending the top of the buttock, and then lifting up from that waist corner. And as I lift up, use my fingertips, press the fingers into the wall, move my chest away from the wall so I'm in a vertical position. Crown of the head is lifting. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. So dividing the back, left side of the rib cage, right side of the rib cage, turning, and turn your chest toward the wall. Stay with your breath. Inhale, lengthen up. Exhale, turn. Do that a few times. So as you do that, the navel is drawing in and up, and you're turning from first starting lower near the waist. Take a few breaths. Keep that breath relaxed. Keep the shoulder down, even though you've got your arms at the wall. Inhale again, lift, come up to the middle rib cage. Exhale, turn, and then go up a little bit higher. Fully inhaling into the lungs, exhale, turn. And then release. You're going to come to the other side. So you'll turn around, take the blanket back, come into this the same way you came in on the other side. Foot moving back, front of the ankle over the arch. Just taking time to find that balance. So when you first go into it, you feel that you're not quite balanced. So take that sitting bone out, flush of the buttocks out, descend this foot down, make room. So you might have to move this foot, you might have to move the legs a bit, but you end up keeping the thighs parallel. And stretch the toes back, descend this femur bone down, lift up through the chest, take your fingertips to the wall. As you do that, just watch that you're not lifting the legs up. So you're still moving the legs down, moving that thigh down, reaching up through the waist corners. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. So you're broadening across the back. You're broadening across the chest. The chest is not facing the wall yet, but you're turning in that direction. So with every inhalation, you're lengthening. With each exhalation, turn. So I'm taking my hands a little bit wider, so you don't want to have the hands too close, and you don't want to have the hands too wide. So have the fingers so that they're connected to the shoulders, and you're using the hands and the arms to get that rotation. Observe your breath. Let the breath be relaxed. But you can have a stronger breath as you exhale. So breathe out a little bit stronger. Inhale. And then out a little bit stronger. Exhale. And then release. And then come back to the center. Now we're going to go into Upavista. So you just stretch your legs out. Bring the feet to the front of the mat. Now this blanket's a little high, so I'm going to take it down. And you can take it back. You can also fold this blanket so it's on its narrow edge, like so it fits closer to the wall. Once it's closer to the wall, you can bring your entire back to the wall. So my sacrum is at the wall. Extend the legs out. Now here, you're going to take time to adjust the flesh of the thigh. So the thigh and the knee are facing upward. Take the flesh of the buttocks out to the side so you're sitting directly on the back of the thigh. And then bring your shoulders to the wall. From here, keep your thighs moving down. Just walk forward, concave the back, lift up through the chest. As you do that, you can feel more weight on the legs. Broaden the thighs, tighten the kneecap, draw the kneecap up. Look at your feet. Be right on the center of the heel. Extend the heel away, so you're lengthening the ankle. Toes are in line with your heel. Reach forward, take hold of your toes, lift up. Stay with the breath. Sense that you're broadening the thighs. Inner thighs are moving down toward the floor, inner knees toward the floor. But at the same time, keep your hips moving down onto that blanket. So the top of the buttocks move down. And then to lift up, concave the back, lift the lower back up to the middle back, to the upper back, where you were twisting from. So as we twisted, we went from the bottom to the middle to the top. So lift the chest. Breathe. All right, and then release. Okay, bring the legs out in front of you. And come forward a little bit. I'm going to take my right leg back, Virasana, and then take the other leg back. And with this narrow edge of the blanket, I'm going to sit on that blanket. Now, if you need a little bit more height, you can have a block. So our props are at different levels, and we use them different ways at different times, depending on our body. So if you don't need to sit on the height of a block, then you can take the blanket and sit lower. So it's good to have a little bit of height in case you're dropping your lower back. So you want the lower back to be able to lift. Reach back, take the buttocks, sit equally on the sitting bones. Look down at your ankles. So the outer ankles are not skewing out, but you're right on the center of the ankle, center of the foot. Use your hands, press down, lift up through the chest. Move your shoulders back, shoulder blades lifting down, moving down, and chest lifting. Okay, we're going to do a little twist here. So we'll go to the right, raise up your left hand. Take your right hand back. You can use it on the blanket or on a block if you have a block behind you. If you're using a block to sit on, have a block behind you to take that hand to, or just take the hand to the wall. It's a little more awkward depending on how close to the wall you are. Take your hand, palm pressing out. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, turn. So here again, as we twist, the outer hip is descending. That femur bone is moving down, and from there you're lifting up through the back waist corners, lifting up through the front body, so that anterior spine, the whole front of the spinal column, and the front body is getting some space there. Turn, roll your shoulder back. And then release. Come back. Reach the arm up. Take the hand back. So find a place to put the hand. Be on the fingertips so that you're not leaning back, but you're using the fingertips to propel you forward. So you're right in line. You're in a vertical position. You're not leaning back, you're not leaning forward, you're not leaning to the side. So you're sitting equally on the sitting bones, so observe that. And then turn from the back, turn from the front, bring your hand to the thigh. Inhale, lift up, exhale, turn. So feeling the waist corners turn from the back waist corner, from the middle rib cage, from that shoulder turning, turn the chest toward the wall. Stay with the breath. Of course, when you're doing twisting, you don't want to have eaten for several hours. Anytime we do yoga, but especially with twisting, not a heavy meal. And then release. Good. Take your hands out. Parvottanasana. Press your hands up. And create that length through both sides of the trunk. We've been twisting, so one side was asymmetrical to the other side. So just observe that you're getting that length as you drop the hips down, lift up, lift the rib cage up. So the rib cage, the diaphragm coming up away from the abdomen, armpit chest opening, shoulder blades moving down and forward. Press up through the palms as if you were pressing the hands into the ceiling to do a handstand. That's it. Lift up, move the sitting bones into the body, descend the outer hips. And then take the arms down. Okay, we're going to go into Bharvajasana 2 now. So you're going to keep your right leg in Virasana. And then you might want to have another blanket or a block, something handy near you to support the leg in case you need it. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this to the side. So now I'm going to take the leg up and move the leg over a couple times. I'll just create a little bit more warmth in the hip. So by moving it over like this, getting the idea of that flexibility in the hip socket. Okay, so now take the foot, top of the thigh, walk the foot in as much as you can, and then let the knee and the thigh descend. All right, so I have a blanket here. If that leg is not going to descend, I can have the blanket right under the knee, not under the thigh, but under the knee, so that I can give it space to move down. If I bring it all the way to the thigh, then it's blocking it, okay? So as I hold, press the knee down, inhale, lift up, take the hand behind, catch the foot, catch the toe, take your hand on the outer thigh, and here, do a little bit of a back bend. So arch back over that arm, lift the chest, and now turn the shoulder back toward the wall. Use the front hand, pressing out into the palm, opening the palm, press against the leg, inhale, lengthen, exhale, turn. Keep the knee, thigh descending. Stay with your breath. And release. Now, if you didn't need that blanket, then you would just bring your leg down. Okay. Extend the leg. Come back to Dandasana. We'll do the other side. So take the leg back, left leg, hold onto the ankle, slide the toes back, slide the ankle back, and then adjust to your seated position. So you're sitting balanced again, and then bend this knee, externally rotate the leg, bring the foot up so that you're creating that movement right in the hip socket. as if you were rocking a baby. All right, so the femur bone, the thigh bone, and the calf are coming together. They're compacting together. So you're not putting any pressure on the knee. You're not torquing the leg. So there's a firmness here between the calf and the thigh, and then you're just moving from the hip socket. Turn your foot. Adjust yourself so you can bring that leg down. I have the block here, which I'll show you with the block also. So you may need to sit on a little bit more height. If you do, you can have the block under that sitting bone and then release the legs down. Okay, I put the blanket back. That's better for me to have the blanket. And then I'm going to take my hand around behind, hold onto the toes. So once I have the toes, I can feel my arm at the back, and I start to turn the back rib cage and move it in. That's a little bit of back bending there just to get the feeling of that rib cage, and then bring your arm over. Press your hand against the thigh, and as you do that, lift the chest and exhale, turn. Press the knee down. Again, if you needed that blanket under the leg, if it was lifted up, then you take the blanket because you want to have the stability from both legs. So if the leg is up high, then you don't have that kind of groundedness with the legs. So either knee on the floor, thigh on the floor, or use a blanket. Stay with your inhalation, exhalation, turn. Couple more breaths. Maintain that left thigh down, left foot pressing into the floor, and lift up through the left back waist corners, through the side trunk, front body, exhale, turn. And then release. Okay, bring both legs out into Dandasana. You're straightening both legs. Okay, let's come back into Virasana with the right leg. So taking it back, be right on the front of the foot. Now here, if you have your strap, you may need your strap. So just have it handy. Bend your knee. Place yourself equally on those sitting bones. Lift up through the lower back, and then take hold of the foot. Extend the leg up. Have the hands right at the ball of the foot. Straighten the leg. And press into the ball of the foot. Lift up. From there, where the hands are connected to the shoulders, move the shoulders forward. Move the back body forward. Look up. Now, in case you needed to use the belt, you can take the belt and double the belt. Bring it right onto the foot and take the length that you need. Straighten your leg out. Press into the strap with the ball of the foot, big toe side and little toe side. Pull with the strap, with the hands on the strap, and move your back body towards your front body. Lift the chest. Take the leg up any amount that you can. And then bend the knee, bring the leg down. Okay, now we're going to shift. So come back to Dandasana, straighten both legs. Shift your blanket over just a bit. And then take your left leg, holding at the ankle, come into Virasana. Adjust so you're sitting on the hips evenly. And then bend this knee. Still, adjust again. Even when you adjust in Dandasana, once you bend this leg, it becomes different. The balance on the hips. So adjust and then take the leg out, holding onto the foot, or take the strap, showed you on the other side. So holding the arms, pull back, move the upper back into the body, lift up through the chest, Press into the ball of the foot. Feel the whole length come through the back of the leg, through the hip. Inhale, lift up. Bend the knee. Again, show you with that strap. So I'm sure you already took that strap, but we can just do it again, revisit it. So straighten the leg. So with the strap, if you can't reach the foot, you can just pull, and with the hands connected to the arms, bring the shoulder blades in and forward toward the chest. So you can get a little bit more action through the back. You don't have to take your leg up so high, but if you want to bring your leg up higher, if you can, keep the other thigh, knee down, pressing down, and then as you bring the leg up, bend the elbows. If you have your hand on the foot, you can also then bend the elbows, press up into the mounds of the toes, and then release. Come back to Dandasana. Okay, let's just take our strap to the side there. So we're going to go into Ardha Matsyendrasana. So this will be a twist, and you'll use the blanket. So first, bending your left leg, you're going to sit on your left heel. So I'm rolling to the outer edge of the foot. I'm rolling to this part of the foot as much as possible. Bring the heel or the sitting bone onto the heel and the other sitting bone onto the mound of the toe. Now, maybe you're going to have to roll the ankle in a little bit, so you don't want the ankle to skew, but with the sitting bones, press back so you can keep the foot as upright as possible. That will give you more height. And press the knee down, shin down, and then take the other foot over. So here, this is a balancing foot. So balance here, balance on the outer edge of the foot, lift up, and then bring your left arm up and bring your hand over. So I'm going to take this block behind me. Use that block because I'm sitting on the height. So having the backhand raised up a little bit is going to give me a little bit more balance, especially if your arms are short. So walk the arm down, turn the palm to face out, inhale, lift, exhale, turn. So there's a strong action with the abdomen moving in and turning. So draw the navel in, exhale, turn, lower back lifting. As you turn, lift the front chest and rotate the back arm. And release. Now, if that was uncomfortable, you can do a couple different things. So I'll show you on the second side. So you can have a blanket on the mat. So when you turn your foot, it might be a little bit more comfortable. And then if you need a little bit more height, you can take a blanket between the hips and the heel. And then that gives you yet a little bit more height. So just try and maintain the balance on the outer side of the foot. Take your block over to the side. Now reach your leg over. Release the calf. In case you have quite a muscular calf, extend it, draw it back. Take your hand back, reach the arm up, exhale, turn. And then just walk down a little bit. So catch the arm, catch the leg. Do that a couple times, starting to turn. And then bring your hand down, palm facing out. Inhale, lift. Exhale, turn. Stay with your breath. Release. Come back. We're going to do that one more time. So you can take the blanket again. Have the foot on the blanket. Take the other foot back. Roll to the outer side of the foot. Let's do it at the wall this time. Okay. Using the wall, start with the right leg, bring it under, take the blanket on top, bring the foot over. You can take that blanket back so the foot is on a mat. All right. So you don't want to be on the blanket with the foot. You want to have that firm grip, a little bit of traction there, and then lift up, bring your arm over. Inhale, lift, exhale, turn. You can take and hold your hand, press your leg toward the center, walk your arm down so that if you can, come closer with the side trunk to the leg. Now press into the foot, use the hands at the wall, inhale, lift, exhale, turn. Aware of your hips, aware of what you feel. Lengthen your lower back, lift up to the middle back, exhale, turn, and then release. Turn to do the other side. So taking that left foot underneath, take the blanket, sit on the blanket, roll onto the heel and the ball of the big toe, coming more onto the side of the foot, and then take this other foot in. Have a secure footing, pressing into the foot, compactness through the body. Reach one hand to the wall for stability, and then start to come down. Take your time, walk your arm down. You can take your hand on the leg, walk further and further. So you're closing the space between the side trunk and the leg. Bring your fingertips to the wall. Inhale first, lengthen. Lower back lengthening, middle back. Exhale, turn. Keep the knee moving down. Keep the foot pressing down for balance. Draw the navel in and up. Be aware of your breath. Be aware of what you feel. Maintaining that balance. As you maintain the balance, create more space and length, elongate and turn. And then release. Okay, I'm going to come back forward now. You can take your blanket and turn it this direction. You're going to sit, come onto your knees, have the feet on the blanket. And now I'm going to take my right leg over my left and bring it back. Okay, so I'm turning the toes, I'm releasing that calf, and I'm sitting directly on the heel. So directly in the center of the buttocks or even on the outer buttocks. Bring the foot back. Press the foot down. Reach the arms up. Lift up. Descend the hips while you do that. Now take one hand back, one hand down. Gomukhasana. Reach the elbow up. As you reach the elbow up, descend the outer right hip. Sitting bone down. And then release. Come back. Change legs. So toes are stretching straight back. The heel is in the center. You sit on the heel. And then bring the leg over. Turn the blanket so that the foot is on the mat. Release the calf. So this foot is giving you that balance, staying in the center. Descend your hip, your outer left hip. So you're right on the center, toes moving back as much as possible. So the foot is straight back. Pressing this foot, bring both arms up. And then take That hand back. Right arm up, left arm down. Inhale, lift. Lift the elbow up toward the ceiling, broadening the belly of the arm. Drop the shoulders. Use the feet equally to create that balance for the pelvis and lift up. Lift the left armpit chest and roll that left shoulder back. Keep the breath quiet, relaxed, and release. Okay, we're going to do one more Gomukhasana, but this time we take the leg over. So come back to Vajrasana, sit on both heels. This time you're going to come forward. I'll just show you from the back. So your calf starts here, the back of the knee is here. So you're going to bring your scissoring your shin bone at the top of the calf, and then you're going to sit back. Okay, I'll show it from the front. So you start bringing your right leg back, be on the shin bone, bring the knees close to one another, stretch the toes back, and then sit with the sitting bones on both heels. Sit with the sitting bones on both heels. Up. Reach the arms up. Right arm stays up, left arm comes down. Gomukhasana. Lift up through the right armpit chest. Lower back lifting. Middle back lifting. Lift up through the elbow. Feel where your hands are. Have your hands right in the center. From there, lift the front chest without overarching the front ribs. So keep the front ribs moving back. Lift the whole rib cage up away from the diaphragm, away from the abdomen. And then release. Extend your arms. Come forward. Change sides. Scissor the leg back. Toes moving back. Now, if that was difficult, you can take a block and you can raise your height by bringing the block there. So your legs are in a compact position. If it's difficult to sit back all the way onto the heels, have that block there. Lift up. So whichever leg is up, you want to have the opposite arm up. So your left arm will stay up, right arm will go behind, walk the fingers up. Catch the fingers. If you can't catch the fingers, have that strap. Lift the right arm up. Lift up through the left armpit chest. Roll the shoulder back. Then release. So depending on how tight you are in the hips and what's happening with the knees, take that extra support if you need it. And then come back. Coming back to Dandasana. And take that blanket away now. So you can fold the blanket, fold it in half. Sit on the blanket. And then bring your feet into this Baddha Konasana, where you're bringing the soles of the feet together. From there, we're going to bring one foot over the other sole, so you can feel a little bit more extension here. So just be with that a little bit. Let your thighs rotate. And take your hands onto the top of the thighs and let them roll. Lift up through the chest. So this is preparation for coming into Padmasana. So now I'm going to bring the leg over and I'm going to slide the foot up onto the knee. So coming more onto a 90-degree angle. And I put us on one blanket. If you need more blankets, you sit on that. If you don't need the blanket, you can take the blanket away. And then sliding the foot back. Release the knee down. So we'll do it in progression. So we'll just do this side, and then we'll release the leg. Come back to Dandasana. Come back to this Baddha Konasana position, and then turn the foot over the arch of the bottom foot. Lengthening, feel that extension coming through the inner groin to the inner knee, outer knee coming back to the outer hip. So this is your front groin, this is your back groin. So allow that space to come. And now you're going to take the foot, move it over, come more to a 90 degree, then take that foot and bring it onto the knee. From here, you can start to slide the foot back. So you're in half Padmasana, Ardha Padmasana. Bring your hands behind you, lift the chest. All right, and then we're going to, having prepared Ardha Padmasana, we're going to come into full Padmasana. Okay, so you can start with bringing the right foot up, bringing the right foot back, turn onto the front of the foot, so your ankle bone is not pressing up, the bottom one's not pressing down, so you keep length here on the heel, and then bring the other foot out. Now, if you want to progress from there and the foot's not coming up very easily, you can bring the foot onto a blanket or onto a block, and then from there, bring it back to that position we had it in, balancing on your hips, and then depending on your flexibility, depending on your knees, depending on your hips. So if you have any kind of knee issue, then be cautious. You don't want to do something that will make the knee feel worse. So if you have to just sit in Sukhasana, easy cross-leg position, then do that. If you can take one into that 90 degree, then do that. Reach the arms up. Urdhva Hastasana. Shoulder blades down, lift up through the chest. Tops of the shoulders moving down, look up between the arms. Bring the hands together, reach the palms up, and then release. Carefully take your legs out. We're not holding that long. This class is only 30 minutes, so if you want to practice this more, you can. So other side. Sometimes that happens, so just be aware. Bring your foot back, turning the foot, extending from the ankle to the heel. So I bring the knee down, hold on to the foot below the ankle, or take that blanket. And remember when I brought the foot before, I had the calf and the thigh moving towards one another. So not torquing from the knee, but moving the calf toward the thigh, and then slide the foot up. If you don't need that blanket that you're sitting on, you can remove that. Bring your fingertips back, lower back lifting up. Reach the arms up. Lift the lower back up, lift the middle back up, reach the hands, and extend up. Now my knees were lifting up, so when I'm not bringing my arms up, they're not lifting, but if they're lifting, then you can have a blanket there to maintain that groundedness. Okay? All right, so now we're going to release from this. Come into Dandasana. Bend your right knee. Bring the arm over, coming into Marichyasana 3. Extend out through that left leg. press, and lift. So here, if your back is sinking, then you can come back onto the blanket. Again, that will give you a little bit more height, a little bit more space here, and then walk down like we did before with Ardha Matsyendrasana. Walk the arm, come down closer and closer, and then you have your hand there at the wall. Press into the floor, inhale, lift, exhale, turn. Keep this Dandasana leg actively extending, moving down toward the floor, crown of the head lifting, exhale, turn. So feel the back ribs, rotate, spread and widen through the back body, but also keep the front body wide through the collarbones and lengthening from the pubic bone up to the sternum. And then release. Dandasana. Second side. So make sure that the foot is on the floor like a Tadasana foot. So you can use that to press down from the knee, drawing back into the femur bone into the pelvis. Reach back, lean back slightly so you clear the abdominal area, and then start to walk your arm down. You can even lean forward, coming off that right sitting bone, leaning. Before, when we did this in Ardha Matsyendrasana, we used the wall. So now here, we're just doing it in the space. So press, inhale, lift, exhale, turn. The arm is in contact with the thigh, and with that action, you're lifting up through the whole side of the trunk, lifting up through the chest, turning that left chest, roll the left shoulder back. Keep extending through the right leg. Aware of your breathing. A little bit stronger as you exhale. Lengthening as you inhale. And then release. Extend both legs out. Okay, now we're going to come into Sarvangasana. So you'll have set up for a shoulder stand. And we're going to set up so that you can bring the feet to the wall. All right, so I have 2 shoulder stand platforms here. You can either use 3 blankets, 4 blankets, or the pads and a few blankets. So just making sure that you adjust your blankets so that they're going to be completely straight and create the firmness there on the front edge. So you have your shoulders there. You want the blankets to be stacked evenly. A little bit of progression. So the outer coming in just slightly. So your neck is there. Again, bringing the mat over. And if you have any difficulty getting up at all, you can take the bolster and bring your hips there. All right. So here, you're going to have your strap. You're going to bring your strap onto your back. So just measure your strap, shoulder distance apart. So from shoulder to shoulder, especially if you have tight shoulders, have that little bit extra width. If they're not so tight, maybe the inner edges of the shoulders. You're going to have this in your right hand. We're going to come over into Sarvangasana, and we're going to do some twisting in Parshva Halasana. All right, so you come down, bring your shoulders onto the mat, measure 1 thumb's distance away. So when you go up, you tend to press your shoulders off. So I want you to press your shoulders down, press the elbows down, upper arms down, and then you can take your hands and your fingers onto that bolster, lift the legs up, and then press, bring the legs over to the wall. Walk the feet up, and now take your strap, Bring it onto the elbows, above the elbows. And before you go further, I want you to lengthen each arm. So I'm rolling onto one shoulder, tucking that shoulder, and then rolling onto the other shoulder. So I'm extending from the shoulders to the hands, walking the feet up as I do that. So I'm coming onto more of the tops of the shoulders. Lift up. Keep the legs firm, and then take the hands on the back, fingers in toward the spine. Press the elbows down, press the upper arms down. Coming into Sarvangasana, extend the legs up. You can see your legs spread through the toes, press through the mounds of the toes like we did when we were in Ranchasana. Lift up through the heel, bring the inner heels towards one another. Buttock forward, tailbone forward. Where we've been twisting from, have your hands firmly on your back, feeling the left side of the rib cage, right side of the rib cage, moving the back ribs toward the front chest, move the legs back. Go into some variations. So you're going to bring your legs apart in Upavista, wide from the inner leg to the inner knee, to the inner knee to the inner heel. And then Supta Konasana, bring the toes onto the floor. If the toes don't go to the floor, if that's too far down, then just keep your legs at the wall. And you can slide down any amount. Keep walking the hands up the back. You can take your toes down, take your toes down. Keep the hips lifting, thighs lifting. Now, bend the knees. I'm a little close to the wall, so I'm bending the knees. I'm going to move one leg over to the left, and then the other leg over to the left. Be on the toes, and lift the outer hip up. So have the feet at the wall. Here I can see this hip is dropping, so I'm lifting the hip, lifting the thigh. There's a little bit of twisting happening, so I'm turning from the left toward the right, lifting the left thigh, extending through the legs. Keep that left arm pressurized to keep the hips in the center. If I let it go, I drop. So press down into the arm, lift the side of the hip. Now come back, bend the knees, and then take one leg over, take the other leg over. Again, you can have your feet at the wall, up higher, depending on your flexibility, your condition. So just be aware of what you feel, how you need to modify according to your body. Lift the outer right hip up, press the right shoulder down, press with the feet, lengthen back from the heels to the hips, and then lift the inner thighs up. Keep the shoulders evenly pressurized on that mat so you can feel even weight distribution across the shoulders, descending. All right, and then bend the knees, come back. If you can bring the toes onto the floor, Kardapadasana. You can take your strap out or off. Take your hands back of your knees or keep your hands on your ankles. If you need to keep your hands on your back so that you don't fall back, then keep your hands there. Just be with your breath. And then preparing to come out. Take your hands behind you on that bolster. So firmly press into that bolster. And then you're going to start to straighten the legs, opening the knees toward the ceiling. And then when you come down, you can bring your feet up the wall a little bit. And you want to come down by lifting the chin up as you move the hips down. Keep the hands pressing, lift the chin, release the hips down. When your hips are on the bolster, then take the feet on the floor. Release your arms over your head. And then slide yourself toward the wall. Slide your head toward the wall. Come off that platform. And then bring your legs. Catch hold of the feet. Bring the heels under. Come into Supta Sukhasana. And just allow the front body to open. So we've done a lot with the hips. There's been a lot of bending from the hip socket. So now just allow this space to come. Releasing the knees and thighs down, lengthening. Buttock can lift slightly against that action. So we're going to change the cross on the legs. So again, bring the knees up, feet up, change the cross, catch hold of the feet, roll the feet under like you did in Padmasana. The heels coming under the thighs, still holding. Maintain the feet there or hold the feet and then bring your arms out to the side. So feeling that nice extension come through the whole front of the inner leg. Observe your breath as you have that space in the pelvis. The depth and the fullness of the breath. All right, we're going to come out. So you can take your hands back, up towards your thighs, bend your knees, bring your feet onto the bolster. And then you'll roll onto your right side, bring your arm up, roll over, come out carefully, and come up off your platform. You can take your bolster away, take your mat and spread it out. Take one of your blankets and fold that blanket. Take everything else off your mat. And you're going to come onto your mat for Shavasana. So I'm just going to move the belt. So move everything off the mat so that you're not touching anything. Move this mat away from the wall. Have the mat for my head. I'm going to take the bolster on top of my thighs and bring the blocks on top of the thighs. So first start with your knees bent. Adjust your pelvis so you're tucking. I have the other block here. So I just want a little bit of weight onto my thighs. So from here, I'm bringing the weight there, making sure that the buttocks is descending. Clear your shoulders, your shoulder blades. Get that placement so that you feel the shoulders are moving down. The collarbones are still wide. Extend your heels. Let the little toe side of the foot roll out. And relax the arms. Relax the upper chest so the chest is moving toward the back. We've done a lot of twisting. So let the back rib cage spread. And as you breathe, breathe into the back ribs. Let the front chest descend down with your exhalation, so making your exhalation a little longer. Having a feeling of letting go, letting down. Feeling a broadness through the back. Thighs heavy, feeling the weight from the bolster and the blocks. So those bricks aren't that heavy, but there is still you feeling something from the front of the thigh so that you can use that to understand which way to move the legs. Just let go, softening, relaxing the muscles, relaxing the front groin. And then begin to lengthen your exhalation, following it out. As you lengthen the exhalation, the inhalation will lengthen a bit. But just concentrate mainly on extending the exhalation. And then just stay here in Shavasana. As always, I'll set a timer for you. So I invite you to stay as long as you can. Namaste.